I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, as closing government, we would like to engage on this debate. So, panels, um, ladies and gentlemen, we are here talking about whether we should impoverish these people who are proven to do crimes. And the crimes that we are talking here is that corrupting. And we, as the closing government, would like to heavily impoverish these criminals who get caught or proven to be corrupted. So, first of all, corruption is usually committed by a person who occupies a certain positions and is intellectually capable to execute their intentions. But first and foremost, money or as asset is the vein that drives a person to commit such crimes, and it is corruptions. Money as the vein that streams blood in order to activate corruptions. Thus, without money, corruptions through the seizure of money or asset in order to impoverish the corruptor. This is because if the corruptor was not impoverished, he or she could still commit crime inside of the jail with the money that they obtain from corruptions. We have seen a conflict of this. One of the examples is such as Gayu Sambunan escaped the prison and enjoy leisure, such as gambling, in Macau, and even take a flight in Bali. Such freedoms, ladies and gentlemen, for corruptors to do anything as they wish can be facilitated because they still have a lot of money. The question here is that can the corruptors still have a lot of money even though they are in prisons? One of the ways for such conditions to happen is through committing money laundering. Like the money obtained from corruptions can be laundered by placing the fund on maybe legal business activities and inside or in outside the money in order to covering the trace of the money origins, right? For example, by transferring the money to a fictitious company and paying a big amount of money with cash. And then our stance is clear that we should prioritize poverizing these corruptors for the sake of nations and put them in sentence for what they done. So let's take a look on our status quo right now and why it is not enough to punish them accordingly. Because these corruptors are proven to be guilty for corrupting their own money for corrupting money from their own people. So first of all, why impoverishing these corruptors are the best way to bring justification. So by impoverishing these corruptors, it surely going to bring a deterrence effect for these people. It is and by impoverishing, this means that we will give them a fine and take away their assets in order to make them pay back the amount of money and more of what they have already stolen. So the first question, one of the questions is that this race is the justifications behind this is when you do something wrong, especially something as big as corrupting your country's wealth in order to enrich yourself, then naturally you should be prepare for the consequences of what you done and when you are get caught. So we are using these principles of justice. When you do the crime, you should always you should take the time. And so you should be prepared to commit the time, and this is the principles that we are going to use. And the second concern is that this race is how are we going to set the parameters and how big of a fine or punishments that we should give these corruptors. And naturally, the punishment would be defined by how big of amount of money they already stolen. Like example, if a certain person corrupts a certain amount of money, then the money they have to pay back will be equal to double or even triple the percent of what they stolen. And we have seen in around the world that these corruptors could easily escape this law and escape the punishment just because they are having a lot of money. And we only and it is not and it is naturally to put detrimental to the government because these kind of people are not deterred enough by this kind of punishment. As soon as they want out of the prison, we can see many cases of people already repeatedly corrupting over and over, and yet again they still escape with a single amount of money, with a small amount of money, and they could escape this punishment. And we do not want this to happen, ladies and gentlemen, in the near future. So we want to prevent any corruptions in the corruptions case in the future. So how we will imply this case not to be happen? So the impoverizing them is one of our way. So because this didn't happen, so that this didn't happen at all time. And the most important aspects and of punishment is of course we want to give deterrence effect for these criminals when we punish them. And then the goal here is to make them regret. It is the goal here is to make them not to want to repeat that kind of crime and for what they already did. And also by impoverizing them with a fine and paying more than maybe 100% that they already done, we will actually not only deter them but also give consequent, but also give compensation to the nations. Not only this will prevent them from doing it again, because they're already impoverished, then they will no longer have the power or will in the positions of power and in order to commit these crimes ever again. And naturally, we're only going to impoverish them, so they are all they are all in the point that they are only like a regular people, regular everyday people, and this will this will put them in deterrence effect, and this and not only giving them the deterrence effect, and in hope that maybe by giving by impoverizing them, we could later then giving them a time to think, and maybe a time to ponder and think, and maybe to rehabilitate themselves in order to maybe serve a better good for the society itself. And then we are under the closing government bench, we are completely proud to propose to this motion.